Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Franchise Pearson, and welcome again to my channel. It is Sunday. Happy Sunday, December 28th of 2025. I have 10:14 in the a.m. Pray you guys have a beautiful day in the Lord. We are here in Chicago in the Midwest, and for the fourth straight day, it is foggy. And when I say it is foggy, it reminds me of days go by. Again, it is foggy here in Chicago. And it's reminding me of days gone by, hint, hint. Many times your senses speak to you and you don't, or it doesn't register as to what is transpiring. But people, I'm going to tell you something. I believe we have seen this before. I've been on the phone with a few friends the last few days, and we have discussed this. And I just mildly brought it up about the fog. And instantaneously, they're like, yeah, we got fog too. Now, historically, I've done videos in relation to that moment of days gone by. And I no longer have that channel. I might have mentioned it on this one, but I want to pause for the cause because I don't want to venture into that. I want to talk about taking the blinders off when it comes down to America and our future. I had someone put in the comments section, they're like, Pearson, why are you trying to predict the future? Those are your words, not mine. You see, we're dealing with entities. The Bible says we don't fight against flesh and blood. These are principalities and powers in the air. And as much as I appreciate these type of questions, because without you guys, there is no show, I then have to many times follow up so you can have a context. Because just like I'm seeing something out my window where I cannot see in front of me or who's out there, it reminds me of days gone by. You too should understand that there is a past which is many times unseen. There's no way in the world an enemy can have any type of success if they don't keep secrets. So as God chooses certain people to reveal and unveil certain things, don't think that we're here to predict the future. That's not how we see it. That's not how we phrase it. We're simply interpreting the times, knowing who's behind these devilish acts. It is no longer a mystery once you figure it out. And then once it repeats itself, you're like, okay, here we go again. Could the ghost of that moment of 6 feet apart return? And could the moment whereby a country and countries around the world found themselves in peril, could it happen to America? So I'm going to answer that one question, why am I predicting the future? I'm going to answer it by showing you that the powers are showing you that it's a wrap, that we have been checkmated. However, God has given us what we need in his glorious word. One of the scriptures that comes to mind is that not only is greater is he that is in you than he that is in this world. Jesus said, where I go to prepare a place for you not made by hand, a new heaven and a new earth. The older I get, the more I understand as I observe current events. We are inhabitants. That is exactly what we are. We are inhabitants. We were made in God's image. We were empowered to be kings and queens of this domain, but we're supposed to go out and be fruitful and multiply. And the progression was to continue throughout the generations, reflecting God's love, mercy, grace, and God's brilliance because of the talents that God has given us. It is a Herculean feat when you have a devil, but it was supposed to have been a joy to take the talents that God has blessed each and every one of us with, as he commanded us to go out and subdue, that is, to manage the earth. We're decorators and illustrators. We are maintenance and beautifiers of God's great kingdom. But it is at a point now, it has soured, that God wants to wash his hands from this. So he promised, I will give you a new heaven, a new earth. And so as we live from day to day, we focus on that promise, knowing and believing, because just like we celebrated Christ's resurrection a few days ago, we know that if a God can lay down his life in flesh and come through and keep that promise, he then too will keep that promise when it comes down to a new heaven and new earth. Now I want to show you something here. We're going to build on this, okay? Shall we? Erica Kirk, in responding to Candace Owens, this will not be about Erica Kirk, but I'm going to utilize one of her most famous responses to try to get the message across, because there's something that we need to do before we can go forward. Give a listen.
Stop. That's it. That's all I have to say. Stop.
Stop.
Subaru is the largest.
Stop.
Off of these lies. What do you want to say to her and the other people that are putting these lies out into the world? Stop. That's it. That's all I have to say. Stop.
I believe the Spirit of God is telling us to stop. Stop acting like this is your home. Stop being, as that famous song back in the day, being the great pretender. Like the music didn't die. Like the things which are being presented in front of you aren't signaling something. We've got to stop. And we've got to begin to draw closer to God, because we have a destination. That's what it's about. We have a destination. Now, I want to show you something. January 20th of 2025, Carrie Underwood was about to sing our national anthem. I've done beautiful videos on this, and so has Joe Aquaviva, 222. There was no sound. The music would not play. One of the most greatest sounds and signs for the moment. Now, in this video, I will put this in the description. It doesn't matter which one you play. But God told me to go back into it today, because I didn't think about it at the time, but not until the 47-second mark was there an attempt to play the music so she could sing, of which at the end she had to go a cappella. When no music plays, the spirit is gone. If the spirit is gone, the vessel dies. I want you to understand the symbology and how deep it is. Watch this here.
Gentlemen, performing America the Beautiful, please welcome the Armed Forces Chorus and Carrie Underwood.
Now that's 47 seconds, people. I want you to look. It says 52. I want you to count. I'm starting at the 41-second mark. We're going to catch it together. Here's your timer. Watch it. 47 seconds, the music will start. Trump is standing right there. Okay, I missed it trying to do multiple things, but I want to show you. It's just interesting how they pull this charade off. Donald Trump is there. Carrie Underwood is there. We're going to catch it this time. Here's your counter. 47 seconds. Watch the music try to play. Did you see that? It tried to play, but it couldn't. Do it again. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47. Stop. That's it. That's all I have to say. They give us subtle signs. The swearing in and the ceremony of the 47th president, and coincidentally, at the 47-second mark, the music tried to play. Music is spirit in our realm. Without the spirit, you are dead. Now, something else happened. At the 2:10 mark, she decided to sing a cappella. 2:10. Watch you count.
You know the words, help me out here. Oh, be you.
Did you see that? The 2:10. We started at the 2:04 mark. The 2:04 mark. Watch.
You know the words, help me out here. Oh, be you.
2:10. The 210th day of the year is July 28th. The 210th day of the year, July 28th. Two ten is July 28th. Take June 14th, 2025. That's Trump's birthday. June 14th, 2025. From July 28th, 2025, you get 44. Who's the 44th president? Barack Obama. Checkmate. When God show you, boy, I tell you, he show you. The children, because they speak in code, they speak in numbers, they speak in colors. So God's got my mind programmed to understand how they think, and they show you. They speak without speaking. The 210th day of the year is July 28th, subtracted from Trump's birthday. He was the one being inaugurated, right? The difference is 44. Now let's define checkmate. Is any game position in chess and other chess-like games in which a player's king is in check, threatened with capture, and there is no possible escape. Checkmate. Checkmating the opponent wins the game. Black is checkmated and loses the game. In chess, the king is never actually captured. But ain't no spirit in them, baby. Now, Let's look at the inauguration of Joe Biden, because I've showed this before. Welcome, new subscribers. The Phoenicians, the old group, they used to sacrifice babies for Moloch and Baal when they wanted treasures, when they wanted positions of authority, when they wanted land. They had to sacrifice for them. The major women during the inauguration of Joe Biden, they wore a shade of Tiffany blue or purple. Kamala Harris wore purple, a shade. Jill Biden, Barack Obama, George Bush's wife, they all wore a shade of purple. But Lady Gaga, who sang, she wore red and black. Red and black is sacrifice. And she wore the big bird. Was it the Phoenician bird? Was it the Phoenix bird? It soars to a highest level, then it stops and it dies, because it went through its 4 seasons of winter, spring, summer, and fall, of which we are at, in my humble opinion. And now the bird gets back up and it transforms. You guys know the story. They presented this story right in front of us.
Ladies and gentlemen, here for the singing of our national anthem, accompanied by the President's own United States Marine Band, please welcome Lady Gaga.
There's nowhere in the world you can miss that bird, that brooch. She's got on red and black. Well, you got to go historical to see. Barack Obama inauguration night, red and black with family. You recognize anything here? And look at that dress that Michelle's got on. Red and black. You really think those colors fit? And later on, Lady Gaga got on the same thing. And how about this? Trump gives Barack Obama a Tiffany blue box. All this symbolism right in our face. The 2 major colors of the Phoenicians are Tiffany blue and purple. I'll leave the video in the description. Obama's got on red and black, and there is Trump's wife, Melania, has on like a powder blue, but look at the Tiffany blue box. That's the secondary color of the Phoenicians, their vases and their paintings. It's a power move. Hey, here's the box. Hold down the White House. Here's your gift. We're going to take care of everything until you get back. Nobody's running for president. In fact, it's been a long time since somebody ran for president. We have been checkmated. We have been checkmated. And the symbolism tells you. It's so deep, y'all. It's so deep. It's so deep. So what's coming? Kamala can't run, but she's running because the circumstance of the bird falling to try to get back up, that will be in her hands. That's why she's on book tour. But listen, the forecast was given by former President Gerald Ford, how a woman would become president.
Hoover facilities.
Mr. Ford, what advice would you give a young lady wanting to become President of the United States?
Well, I hope we do have a young lady at some point become President of the United States. How I think it will happen, because it won't happen in the normal course of events. Either the Republican or Democrat political party will nominate a man for president and a woman for vice president. And the woman and man will win. So you'll end up with a president, a male, and a vice president, a female. And in that term of office of the president will die. And the woman
become president. Key words: not under the normal set of circumstances. We're here. It won't be long, people. It won't be long. She doesn't have to run. The circumstance and situation will put her there. She is the symbology of the lotus flower out of Egypt. Her name is Kamala. Kamala means lotus flower. She's going to give birth to the new system. The music did not play because the spirit is out of the vessel. The vessel was dead. In order to bring it back to life, listen to me very carefully. In order to bring it back to life, another spirit has to re-enter into the vessel. Understand? The big bird that was worn by Lady Gaga, it has to go into a rebirth mode. But it won't be America. It'll be the one world system. Now, this is what Trump is touting right now, a new economic system. Tech.
Big tech is making a big push to embrace AI in the new year. The White House just announcing that around 25,000 people have expressed interest in joining the administration's tech force. The elite team will include software and data engineers, in addition to other tech workers, as the administration embraces the future of technology. Let's bring in Chief Science and Technology Advisor to President Trump, Michael Kratsios. Michael, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. So this tech force, what's the mission?
The mission is to bring in the best and brightest technologists from around the country to help solve some of the greatest technological challenges that the federal government faces. A lot of our systems are very antiquated. They were built many, many years ago before a lot of this new technological revolution. Things like AI have even come into place. And with this tech force, we can actually bring in these super talented people for tours of duty into the federal government to solve some of these problems, build better software, and ultimately deliver better citizen-facing.
So they have to justify it. Our stuff is so-called antiquated. Bring them in. But listen to the same clue allegedly that Trump gave a month ago, and I broke that code. He said 25,000.
This big tech is making a big push to embrace AI in the new year. The White House just announcing that around 25,000 people have expressed interest in joining.
Now, I forgot the number that Trump said, but Trump was talking about the every time we knock out a narco boat, a drug boat, it saves how many people? Let's look at it. Trump said knocking out a drug boat in Venezuela saves 25,000 lives. Okay. I don't see it, but we'll get it. Trump said every time we knock out a Venezuela drug boat, we save 2,500 lives. Google corrected me in a good way. 25,000. Like I said, 25,000. Donald Trump claimed that every time a suspected Venezuela drug boat is knocked out by the U.S. military, it saves 25,000 lives, not 2,500, Pearson. Sometimes you have to just keep Googling and it get there. 25,000. Now, do you think it's coincidence that Trump said 25,000? And now this man is showing the report that Trump said 25,000 also, bringing in 25,000 tech people. I broke the code then, I'm breaking it now. 25,000 divided by Trump's age 79 gives you what? 316. What is 316? We just talked about Christmas. John 3:16 talks about Christ's sacrifice. John 3:16. Look at it. Ain't nobody running for president. We've been checkmated. Look how deep it is. 25,000, they're giving us clues. Divided by 79 gives you 316. Sacrifice. That's why the music wouldn't play. I could make this thing longer. Nobody's running for president. Kamala's running for book tour to keep her face in the place so that when all this hell break loose, it'll fall into her lap. We'll go into a temporary WAR. Then they'll probably knock her out the picture. And then Obama will come in and say today. Trump is touting that we got a better America coming. Reports just came out with a 4.2 better economy. You know good and well this economy is bad. There's nothing to run for. There's nothing to run to. I believe I've showed you. This is why Trump has got a gold watch, gold gym shoes, gold buildings, Trump Gaza, gold cars, and gimmicks. Nobody's running. Nobody's running because they've already ran through America. And we've been having a fire sale, selling bridges, selling land, selling farms. I hope I got through to you. I hope I got through to you. And you take the hint.
Is out into the world right now. Stop.
Stop. God bless. Jesus is coming soon.